American Timelines is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network. Find out more at queencitypodcastnetwork.com.
So now I'm obsessed with time. Come on, tell me about the time. Had it all in my hand tonight.
Welcome to American Timeline.
My History for Jerks.
We're joined by Hunter Brang,
Artstar,
Joe Hunsaker,
and Gruff. Steve Bishop.
and we are
Joe and the Cock Rockets.
Yes, I'm joined by the Cock Rockets, who have self-proclaimed themselves the Cock Rockets while I was having technical difficulty. I guess they came up with a song and everything, and maybe we'll sing it in the future. But we don't have time because we got to jump into. We got to finish August 1944 because last episode Hunter and I left you around mid-month, so we're gonna jump right in. But yeah, I can't remember. So we're just gonna jump in. I thought I had something to mention about you guys, real quick that I was gonna say.
mentioned about us.
Yeah, I
appropriate?
like had something on the top of my head that I was like, you said the Cock Rockets, that was good. Anyway, I don't remember. Anyway, so
we
we're
went on
gonna
a whole tangent for Richard Belzer last time.
yeah, we talked about
Ooh,
Richard
I do like-
Belzer's
I do
birthday.
like
It was his
Belzer.
birthday. So
I
Art
had-
and Steve missed it, and that episode hasn't even been put out yet. Oh, I was gonna say this episode is being recorded, listeners, on Gruff Steve here. His
Oh.
the day before his 50th birthday, the last day of his 49 years.
The last day of the 49 years of
Of his 49th year.
yeah.
He'll be 50 tomorrow. So if you're listening to this and you love him, just picture him being 50 and send him a note at Gruff on Twitter. At Gruff. No, is that your
No, there's no.
Twitter?
I don't.
You have a Twitter
I'm
handle?
not big on the socials.
What's your Instagram handle? What's your address? What's your home address?
My home address.
Yeah.
1-8 no. 1-5.
He lives next to a police
Artstar.
station, so just go to
There
the
you
police
go.
station.
Or you could just History for Jerks, right? At History for Jerks.
Yeah, you can probably get him at History for Jerks, or you can just email me at historyforjerks@gmail.com, and I'll forward it to him. How about that? All right, so
All right.
we are in August 1944. We're going to jump back in. I've got a bunch of stuff that I half-assedly researched, but then we're going to take a deep dive with Artstar and Gruff. They each have some stories they're going to share in August 44, and then we'll wrap up the month, and then we'll move on to September. All right, we ready, gentlemen?
Aye, sir.
Feel
Yeah.
free to add to anything that you find interesting or not interesting, or tell me to pipe down, or if you have any emotions. So we're going to jump back in August 19th, which was a Saturday of 1944, and the Battle for Paris began. As we know, we're in the middle of World War II, or kind of towards the end of World War II, but things are being liberated. Paris is being liberated. Resistance fighters in the capital became confident enough to begin making sniper attacks on nervous German troops, because German troops, as we talked about last episode, were beginning to surrender. A lot of them were just giving up and letting people go. So the liberation of Paris in August 1944 wasn't just a military maneuver. It was a high-stakes drama filled with defiant waiters, secret messages, and a German general who decided not to be the guy who burned the City of Light to the ground. See, by mid-August, the Allies were sweeping across France after D-Day. General Eisenhower's original plan bypassed Paris. He didn't want to get bogged down in urban combat or have to feed millions of people immediately, but the Parisians had other ideas. On August 19th, the French resistance, tired of 4 years of baguette rationing and Nazi flags, staged a massive strike and started taking over police stations. Entered General Dietrich von Choltitz. That's his name, Choltitz.
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 Dieter Choltitz.
Dieter Choltitz.
Dieter Choltitz.
Imagine what the bullies called him. Anyway, he was the
Dieter
German commander.
Choltitz.
He was the German commander of Paris. Hitler sent him a very clear, very unhinged order. Paris must not fall into the hands of the enemy except as a field of ruins. So the Nazis had literally wired the Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, and the Louvre with explosives. But Choltitz, realizing the war was lost and not wanting to go down in history as the man who destroyed Western civilization, just didn't press the button. How about that? So
Nice.
Choltitz kind of saved the day.
Oh, I'm sorry I mocked him.
Yeah.
Sorry I mocked you, Dieter.
The-
Well done, Dieter.
This is the time on Sprockets when we
Movie
dance.
dance. That's all I can think about.
Anytime I hear Dieter. The
Yeah.
resistance was outgunned and running low on ammo. Charles de Gaulle, the leader of the Free French, basically told the Allies, if you don't go in now, the communists will take over the city and it'll be leveled. Eisenhower finally gave the green light. In a poetic move, he let the French 2nd Armored Division under General Leclerc lead the charge. It was only fair. Leclerc. And then August 20th, 1944 was a Sunday. And this is probably something Hunter's going to love because he's a big golf guy. Bob Hamilton won the 26th PGA Championship.
Oh.
Are you familiar with Bob Hamilton, Hunter?
The name sounds familiar. I'm not. I'm looking at his picture right now, and what a goober.
Is it giving you a boner?
Hey.
Nope. Absolutely not. Complete opposite. Softy.
So, so with this PGA Championship, it was basically a David versus Goliath, but with better hats. The tournament took place at Manitou Golf and Country Club in Spokane, Washington. The heavy favorite was not Bob Hamilton. It was Byron Nelson, a man who was winning golf tournaments so frequently in 1944 that it was becoming a statistical anomaly. Bob Hamilton, meanwhile, was a pro from Indiana who most people assumed was just there to fill out the bracket and maybe provide some nice conversation. Back then, the PGA Championship wasn't the stroke play, lowest total score format we know today. It was a match play, which I don't know what that is, but it is a 36-hole head-to-head elimination marathon. Basically a civilized duel where the weapons were 9 irons and the casualty was your dignity. And there was a wait. He won moment. Hamilton didn't just win, he took down the equivalent of the 1940s golfing Avengers. He beat Jug McSpaden, another giant of the area. He then faced Byron Nelson at the final. And the clincher was on the 36th hole. Hamilton sank a 2-foot putt to win one up. The crowd was stunned. It was the golfing equivalent of a guy in a bowling shirt beating an Olympic gold medalist. Nelson was so dominant that year that losing to Hamilton was like a Ferrari being overtaken by a very determined tricycle.
So the two names, Jugs was the
Yeah.
Olympic medalist.
Jug McSpaden. Yep.
Tug McGraw
Yep.
was the equivalent to the Olympic gold medalist. And what was the other guy's name?
Byron Nelson. Also,
Byron Nelson.
he was the guy everybody thought would win because he was winning like crazy.
Okay.
6th in the world for all-time PGA wins.
Okay.
What was it? 52 all-time wins.
Man,
That's crazy.
We don't have names like that. I
Yeah.
mean, they got to come around eventually, right?
Well, listen to this. Here's what he got paid for defeating the greatest golfer on the planet. Hamilton took home $3,500 in war bonds. If you adjust that for inflation, that's about $60,000 today, or roughly what a modern pro spends on a nice weekend in Vegas. There you go.
Nice. Well,
That's like winning a championship every other year for your entire life. 60 or 52 wins.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? I'm terrible at golf.
I'm comically so.
Same. I play a lot more golf than you, Joe, and
Comically
I'm
bad.
terrible at golf.
All right,
Yeah.
you golf. Steve's better
I
than
enjoy
me.
it. No, I don't think so.
I
don't
think
I
you're
was
better
good.
than I am. I'm terrible.
Like
We
did,
should play.
Like we.
Joe, you know who we should play with? You know who I play with on a regular?
Let me guess. Wait, hold on. Don't tell me. Cam Newton?
Nope. Old Blumenthal.
Who's
Old
that?
Blumenthal.
Old Dale
Randy.
Blumenthal? Oh, Randy Black.
Randy.
Oh,
Randy's one of the.
He's probably good.
He is good, but he's fun. He's real fun to play with.
Okay. Good. Well, yeah,
All
I'm
right.
glad he's fine. No, sorry. No, I
Yeah.
thought I had a.
You're just taking a note.
Sorry. No, yeah. Well, that's golf. August 21st was a Monday, guys. Let's keep on going. And
Hey.
the Dumbarton Oaks Conference began at the Dumbarton Oaks Estate in Washington, D.C. This international conference was to be where the United Nations was to be formulated and negotiated among international leaders.
Dumbarton
Dumbarton.
Oaks.
Yeah.
The Dumbarton Oaks Conference is what created
Nice.
United Nations. Imagine the world
Well,
as a
yeah.
giant chaotic high school. A massive 4-year-long brawl has been happening in the hallways. World War II. Finally, the three biggest, toughest seniors, the U.S., the U.K., and the USSR, plus China, who was invited but had to sit at a different table for a bit because Soviets were being weird, decided they need to make sure this never
Oh,
happens
the
again.
Soviets were weird about it.
Yeah. Well, they were being weird to China, apparently.
Well, I mean, it's something we probably could all agree on. Let's just
Yeah.
say we're blaming the Soviets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No one's
pretend they
hands are
meet
clean.
at a fancy mansion in Washington D.C. called Dumbarton Oaks to write the student code of conduct for the entire planet. That's what this was. The goal, the League of Nations, but with teeth. The world had tried this before with the League of Nations, but it was basically a book club with no power. It was like a no smoking sign that nobody followed. The guys at Dumbarton Oaks wanted to create the United Nations, but this time they wanted to actually have teeth, meaning if a country started a fight, the UN would send in a neighborhood watch to stop them.
Yeah, because that worked out.
Yeah, that
That's-
blue helmet's paying out, dude. Those
That
blue helmets
aged like
worked.
milk.
Yeah, it's working great, right?
Oh shit!
Anyway,
I mean, it looks good on paper.
It's a nice thought. It was a nice
Yeah,
thought.
dude. It was a logical next step after League of Nations.
well,
Mhm.
originally U.S., UK, USSR, and China all got the veto power, and eventually
Yeah.
France got it.
Yeah.
But
And what they've done with it, that's stymied it. The veto power of France has really stymied the power of the UN.
yeah,
Sorry,
sure, yeah. Well,
I'll blame France.
this conference almost fell apart because the Soviet Union was paranoid. Stalin, he wanted to be able to veto anything, even if the group was just voting to investigate him for being a bully. So, yeah. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Well, I mean,
was-
no, that's. I'm sorry to shake a fist against the French. They're not even
No.
there yet.
Yeah, friggin' French. Poor French.
Yeah, I do enjoy their cooking.
Well, I don't really have much else on the UN. Do you guys have anything about the UN you want to talk about?
Well, I mean,
It's doing
I think
great.
I think we said what we were gonna say.
Okay, well, Tuesday, August 22nd, the fantasy drama film Kismet, starring Ronald Colman and Marlene Dietrich, was released. Imagine a 1940s fever dream where everyone's wearing way too much eyeliner and the Middle East looks suspiciously like a soundstage in Burbank. The plot is The King of Beggars. The story follows Hafiz, played by Ronald Colman, a suave, fast-talking street magician and beggar in old Baghdad. He's basically a silver fox version of Aladdin, but with a better vocabulary and more elaborate side hustle. The goal, Hafiz wants his daughter Marsana to marry royalty so she can live the high life. He pretends to be a wealthy prince to woo the sultry queen of the castle, Marlene Dietrich, while simultaneously pretending to be a humble beggar to keep his street cred. Meanwhile, his daughter falls in love with a handsome gardener who, spoiler alert, is actually the caliph in disguise. In old Hollywood movies, 90% of gardeners were secretly kings. There are magic tricks, secret passages, and enough thou arts and thy wills to make Shakespeare dizzy. Some funny things about it today is Marlene Dietrich's legs. The movie's famous for one thing, Dietrich's gold paint dance. They literally painted her legs gold. It was scandalous, uncomfortable, and looked like a C-3PO cosplay trial run. The accents were funny. You have German icons and British gentlemen trying to sound like they were born in ancient Baghdad. It's a linguistic buffet that makes absolutely no sense. And the film was also filmed in glorious Technicolor. Colors are so bright they might actually damage your retinas. Everything is turquoise, gold, or look at me red. Anyway, the verdict is it's a movie that asks the question, can a man with a fake beard and a golden-legged girlfriend hustle his way into the royal family? It was the perfect 1944 distraction, pure, unadulterated escapism for a world that was tired of hearing about rations and industrial calculators. I had never heard of that movie,
Neither have I.
Kismet. But does it make you want to
Yeah,
watch it?
I mean,
I'm
I would watch it.
I'm looking at the August 1944 events list here, and I'm actually a little shocked that I missed this earlier. This the Japanese cargo liner Tsushima Maru.
Yeah.
You see that?
No.
A cargo liner was sunk by the submarine USS Bowfin while carrying hundreds of school children from Okinawa to Kagoshima.
Eesh. Some
It's
things never
amazing how we
change.
missed that one.
Yeah. They were
You'd think that'd be
evacuating. Let's see.
Who sunk it? We sunk it?
Yeah, the U.S. Yeah.
Wow.
Some things never change, huh?
We may not have known there were kids on it. You
I
know,
don't
I'm
know.
not going to be an
I'm not seeing a
apologist.
whole lot of info other than that it was just full of school kids.
You know, there are
That's awful.
there are some theories of war that say the ideals will live beyond the death
As
of the
of
men. You must
as of
kill
August
everyone.
2000, as of August 2005, reported a total of 1,661 civilian evacuees, including 834 school children, of whom 775 were killed. Approximately 59 survived the sinking. After the sinking, a gag order was enforced by the Japanese government, and families and survivors rarely spoke about the incident. So
Yeah,
maybe
so
why
I
we
think
don't hear
so.
much about it.
When you look at all of the things that happened, like in this time period when we're doing this, there's just so many sinkings and bombings, and it's like hard to pick one or two to do because
No,
it's like every day there's 100 of them,
yeah,
and that one's a particularly awful one. So, but
yeah.
yeah, so thanks for bringing us down after talking about the
Sorry,
Hey,
sinking.
man.
no, it's not.
Hey,
It's
it's
just
got ties to today.
No, yeah,
salted
it
caramel is
really
great. Yeah.
it is weird how much it is tied to today.
Well,
Sadly.
there are people that thought that was great, I imagine.
Well, let's
You
bust. Let's keep bustling through to get to you guys'
Yeah,
events
bring us back up. Find us
because,
something
well, this
nicer.
is also probably bad because August
Uh,
24th was a
oh,
Thursday, and the battle for Paris
Thursday.
continued. Uh, the first tanks rolled in late on the 24th. Legend has it they were greeted by Parisians, often. Is that how I say it? Parisians, Parisians,
Parisians.
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 They were offering bottles of wine that had been hidden since 1940. Um, and it's the same day that the Harvard Mark electromechanical computer was developed and built by IBM. Think about this, August 24th, 1944, and was formally presented to Harvard University. It wasn't a laptop, it was a behemoth. Imagine a machine that looks like it belongs in a steampunk laboratory. Like one of the
Nice.
first computers
Vacuum
developed by
tube.
IBM. It was 51 feet long, 8 feet high, and 2 feet deep. It weighed about 5 tons. It used 765,000 individual components and 530 miles of wire. Uh, because it used mechanical relays, it made a constant rhythmic click clack sound, like a room full of thousands of knitting
Knitting
needles.
needles.
Oh, yeah. The machine was a brainchild of Howard Aiken, a Harvard grad who was tired of doing tedious math by hand. He pitched the idea to Thomas J. Watson Sr., the legendary head of IBM. IBM built it in New York, spent about $200,000 on it, which is a fortune in 1944, then shipped it to Harvard. It was encased in a sleek, futuristic glass and steel cabinet because Watson wanted it to look like the future of corporate technology. Now, what did it actually do? The Mark I was immediately put to work by the U.S. Navy for the war effort. It was essentially a giant calculator that could handle addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and complex logarithms. It took about 0.3 seconds to add two numbers and about 6 seconds to multiply them. It was programmed using long strips of punched paper tape. And then one of its major top secret jobs was running calculations for John von Neumann to determine if the implosion method for the atomic bomb would actually work. on the Manhattan Project. So there you go.
I
that?
missed.
It
Did you
is.
talk about the size?
Yes.
Yes.
You want me to say it again?
Sorry.
Or you
No,
can
no,
go
sorry.
back and listen?
I was reading stuff and I missed it.
Oh.
No, sorry.
Well, the actual first computer bug was found on this. Not only did they find an actual moth in it, but
Bug.
a few
Where
other,
the term comes from.
yeah. I guess modern programming logic was born on the Mark I during that summer. The Mark II had the actual first computer bug, I guess. Anyway, and then on August 25th was the surrender. Leclerc and the resistance cornered Dietrich von Choltitz at the Hotel Meurice at 2:30 p.m. and Choltitz surrendered, and Paris was officially liberated. And that same day,
Viva la resistance!
yeah.
Oh, wait.
When holes and ones and cigarettes.
And that same day, Romania switched
Freedom.
sides. They switched sides and declared war on Germany.
Yay! Yay, Romania.
They saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not on your
Yeah.
side. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're on your side.
We'll plug this gap here.
Okay. And then Saturday, August 26th, the party began. De Gaulle walked down the Champs-Élysées the next day, despite some German. Élysées, is that how you say it? The Champs-Élysées the next day. Despite some German snipers still hiding on rooftops, the city turned into the biggest street party in human history. At 4 p.m., Charles de Gaulle arrived at the city and walked amid a cheering crowd to the Hotel de Ville, where he made a rousing speech. He headed a liberation parade in Paris, laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier and ceremonially relighting the eternal flame at the Arc de Triomphe, then marching along the Champs-Élysées to attend a service at Notre Dame to give thanks for the liberation of the city. Sniper fire rang out during the parade, which de Gaulle ignored. And that brings us all the way to August 30th, which was a Wednesday.
Oh,
And
hey!
the beautiful Artstar is going to take over.
So,
This better be worth it, Artstar.
oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
Oh,
I
don't
got
worry,
big
I'll
shoes to
undercut you.
fill following Joe. Oh man, oh man.
Just walk your walk, sir.
So I chose a birthday.
Uh-oh.
And my birthday that I chose was for Tug McGraw. Okay?
Tug McGraw.
Tug McGraw was a baseball player, a professional baseball player. All right?
Okay.
So
Tug McGraw.
I shall begin again. At any point, stop me in, because I like to yammer. So
Keep going. Sing your song of Tug McGraw.
I can't wait to hear about Tug McGraw.
So this is Tug McGraw, and mostly my own words, as spoken by me, narrated by Artstar. Okay.
The Ballad of Tug McGraw.
Tug McGraw was born on August 30th, 1944, in Martinez, California. His given name was Frank Edwin McGraw Jr., the second of three sons born to Frank Sr. and Mabel McKenna. He was given the name Tugger, which eventually became Tug for short. His mother gave him that nickname. And it's ironic that Steve was talking about Jugs, and we also talked about what's the guy's name? The German with the last name Tits in the last name.
Glockenspiel?
Choltitz.
Choltitz?
Yeah, right.
Choltitz.
Right, Choltitz.
Choltitz.
So he was given the nickname
Choltitz.
Tug for short by his
Choltitz.
mother because of how he tugged at her during feedings. So apparently, when she was breastfeeding him, he
He's a tugger.
put in some work.
There's a little
This
tug.
is
yeah.
this is a tits episode. This is a tit-friendly episode on International Women's Day. I think is that today?
every day.
Today.
Yesterday.
Should be.
Oh, yesterday was. So,
I thought it's the month. I thought it
It's
was
the month. It's,
Should be.
ladies, this
Should be.
episode's for you and your tits.
oh boy, we're gonna get
Wow,
canceled.
that's
that.
not that's
Cut
not
that.
that's not the
That's
way
not-
we're
Okay,
that's
men, this is for you and your man tits. How about that? Is that better?
I mean a little bit.
Tug preferred to be called by his nickname, and for the rest of his life was known as Tug. And this is a direct quote from Tug McGraw. On my first day of kindergarten, the teacher asked if there was anyone's name she didn't call. I raised my name and said my name is Tug McGraw.
He raised his
She
name?
looked I raised my hand
Okay,
and
that's right.
said my name is
Yeah.
Tug McGraw. She looked at the roll and said, I have a Frank McGraw. I said, no, that's my dad. He already went to kindergarten. This was an exact quote from
That's
Tug.
great. Yeah.
His dad was a blue-collar worker, and he raised the boys after his mom, who was bipolar and abusive, and ran away from a mental facility while on a weekend pass, thus abandoning them. Senior moved the boys to Vallejo in the early 50s. Tug graduated from what used to be called St. Vincent Ferrier High School, but is now called St. Patrick St. Vincent High School. And this is where I added the Joeisms.
Yes, I hope
A
so. I hope
private
you're doing this
Roman-
birthday right.
A private Roman Catholic high school with notable alumni such as Ed Rollins, who was the national campaign manager for Reagan Bush in 1984,
That's a good notable alumni, son.
and Fulton Gerald Kuykendall, a former NFL linebacker who played for Atlanta and San Francisco
Okay.
in the mid 70s to mid 80s.
Those are notable alumni.
The mascot is a Bruin.
Oh, I almost thought you. I thought you forgot about the mascot, but you got a Bruin. Home
The school-
Bruins.
The school colors are Hunter Green and Gold.
Hunter green and
Hunter
gold.
green and gold.
Hunter
That's-
loves
Beautiful
green.
color.
That's a
Beautiful
good
color.
combo. That's a good combo.
He attended Vallejo Junior College, now known as Solano Community College, where the notable alumni were the aforementioned Ed Rollins,
Oh,
Oh, same
Yeah.
college.
also
some footsteps.
Sylvester Stewart, who you may know as Sly Stone from Sly and the Family Stone,
Ooh.
Nice.
Johnny Collar, a founding member of Huey Lewis and the News,
Nice.
and their school colors are Solano blue and white, which is kind of like I think it was kind of like a navy-ish blue,
Okay.
and the mascot was the Falcon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Falcons. All right.
Yeah, like the
Alright.
Falcons.
So
Yeah.
so now we'll talk about his career in baseball. Tug's baseball career started at 19 in 1964 when he signed an amateur free agent contract worth $7,000 with the Mets. His career started out as a starter and a reliever. He even threw a no-no in his debut. A no-no, for those of you who don't know, is a no-hitter. You know what a
Thank you.
no-hitter is, Joe?
A no-no. Yes.
A no-no is a no-hitter.
I've never heard it referred to as a
A no-no. Some
no-no.
people call it a nay-nay.
I've never heard. I've just heard.
Do
both
you
of
watch
those
him
for the
whip?
first time now.
Watch me whip. And watch me nay-nay.
Well, maybe the whips.
Okay,
is so
okay,
good.
Boomer.
Nay-nay.
Ah, boomer.
I just wanted to do that. Let me get back to this because
Come on,
Oh,
Artstar.
please.
Get back to it. Stop getting distracted.
he had an impressive 1.64 ERA and a 6-4 record in his first year. At age 20, he made the Mets out of spring training. He skipped the upper tier of the minors to make his pro debut. And on April 18th, 1965, he made his major league debut when he entered the game as a reliever against the San Francisco Giants. He was so fired up and nervous after striking out Orlando Cepeda with the bases loaded that they had to give him a tranquilizer to calm his nerves.
Really? Right in the
Yeah.
butt?
I would assume they would give him back in those days. I'm assuming he would have gotten in the ass.
In the
Yeah.
ass, not the
Yeah, in
balls.
the ass. Um, the Mets brought him up with the intention of using him as a reliever, but on July 28th of that year, he started a game, the second of a twin bill against the Cubbies. You know what a twin bill is, Hunter? A doubleheader.
That man.
You know
makes
what,
sense.
Hunter? I'm upset that you didn't know what that is, and you insist on buying minor league baseball hats, and you don't even go to
Listen,
the games.
Art and I had a whole conversation about this the other day. You don't gotta. There's no rules. If you like the hat, you buy the hat.
I am against that firmly, and I'm going to
I
force
also
you to
learned.
go to these minor league games.
I
Well,
also learned that the recent one that I got for my birthday, the hot dog one, which we talked about on our show together.
Yeah.
It is the Reading, Philadelphia hot dogs, not the Reading as I saw it.
Oh, you did say reading, didn't you? And I didn't correct you.
did you
Because
know to correct?
Some like random guy.
No.
It was like a random guy corrected
Reading.
me that was like listening to me and Art's conversation.
Yeah, I was like,
it's
wait, I like
Reading.
reading, and then that's when he stuck his head in the window. He's like, yeah, and
Reading.
he
Yeah.
said something else to you about it too, didn't he?
Something later.
I
yeah,
think
I
so.
don't remember what it was.
So is it Reading Railroad and Monopoly also?
That was it.
That's
That
what he
was
said.
what he
Yeah,
said.
that's what he said.
He was like, clearly you've never played Monopoly. I was like, I have, and I called it Reading Railroad.
I always
Yeah.
did too. I always
Yeah,
called
that's
it
what I-
Monopoly, but I knew that Reading, Pennsylvania was Reading. I've heard that before, but it didn't dawn on me, I guess, because I've been playing a lot of Monopoly on PlayStation. I don't know why. It's so
Wow.
stupid.
Wow.
But no, it's a good
It's like
game.
3D. It's like 3D Monopoly on the.
Oh, that's pretty.
Okay.
It's like playing Monopoly for real, but without the people and the board game and all that.
Well,
shit.
it's got dice you can shake. You can throw it, and it like hits 3D items. There's like a city in the middle, and it like
Okay.
hits buildings and stuff. But anyway, I thought nobody will ever play. As an adult, we don't play Monopoly. Like nobody's
Well, I
got.
play
I
Monopoly
hate that
Go.
board game.
Yeah, but
I
nobody's got
don't.
8 hours to play with each other. Like when we were kids, you play all day and then put it away and then come back
Nah.
tomorrow.
I have a copy of Monopoly in my board game collection to prevent other people from having to play that game.
All right, so let's
yeah.
get back to it, people.
Okay.
Let's get back to it. All right, because Artstar, he likes the yammer, okay?
So the twin
He's
bill.
a yapper.
The twin bill.
In the twin bill, he only lasted 2/3 of an inning after giving up three runs, and the Mets were swept in the doubleheader. 9-0 in McGraw's game, and 7-2 in the first game. Almost a month later, he received a second start, and this time he fared a lot better and pitching a complete game, beating the Cardinals 4-2. He struck out 5 and walked 5, giving up 7 hits. His third start came 4 days later against Sandy Koufax and the Dodgers. This time, Tug hurled 7 2/3, struck out 5, en route to a 5-2 Mets victory. The significance of this start and victory was it was the first time the Mets beat Koufax. It also, unfortunately, was the last win that year that McGraw got. He finished 2-7 in his first year, with one of the losses coming in his first appearance as a reliever. After his first season, McGraw, who in the offseason served in the reserves with the Marines, reported to Paris Island. He trained as a rifleman where he became good at firing M14s and M60s. McGraw had a 6-year commitment to Marine Corps reserves. His time in the reserves gave him valuable lessons, according to him, that helped with his self-control. His commitment ended in 1971. And that's just like his, a little bit of his war. He also used to do like USO tours in between seasons. Like he had an affinity for, giving back to the troops. In his second season in the majors, 1966, he went 2-9 with a high ERA of 5.52. McGraw would only start 4 times with the big club in 67. He spent the rest of 67 and all of 68 with the Jacksonville Suns, which was the AAA affiliate of the Mets. Jacksonville also was a key time in his life, which I'll come back to later on. Hold
Okay.
that thought on Jacksonville.
So while he was playing for the Jacksonville Suns, something crazy happened.
Right. So hold on to that thought. Hold on to that thought.
Do you know?
Hold
Wait,
on to that thought.
real quick. Do you know who the Jacksonville Suns are now?
God damn it, I knew this.
We
I
talked
knew
about
this.
him this week.
Yeah. Man, I forgot.
They're the
Because-
Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
Right. Well, no. So son of a biscuit.
Are you pissed?
No, what
Did you
happened?
get
I bit
hurt?
the side
Are
of
you
my
injured?
jaw.
Oh,
So
you bit your tongue? Are you bleeding?
no, the side of my jaw.
Is this an
But
injury? Is this a American Timeline's injury?
So what happened was the team moved. So it's the Suns.
Or the Suns
the-
moved?
Yeah, the Jacksonville. I want to say the Jacksonville Suns. The Shrimp were a team that took the place of the Jacksonville Suns, I believe. Because I think what happened with Jacksonville Suns is one of those things, sort of like how, well, like a lot of teams, what ends up happening is like the naming rights are still there,
They weren't the Shrimp until 2017.
right? But I don't like look them up real quick. Look them up real quick.
I'm looking.
Because I think what happened
I
was
saw online that the Suns became the Shrimp in 2016.
yeah, but I think
I want a jumbo shrimp hat.
But I think the Jacksonville Suns that he was on, I feel like I read that they became something else. And then there was another team that became the Jacksonville Suns, who then eventually became the Jumbo Shrimp.
If we don't get this right, we are not good podcasters.
So, like
Deuce.
the original Cleveland Browns became the Bengals and another team became the Browns. And that Browns is the Browns that eventually became the Ravens before the Browns we know today.
Right. It could be something like that,
Could
or
be something like
it
that.
could have just
Could be
been one of
something
those
like
other
that.
things. Because I've been
This
looking
is
at a lot of
important
minor
to
league
know.
teams recently.
Yeah.
Okay, Hunter's he's our fact checker. Fact checker.
Okay. A team
Oh,
known as
sure.
the Jacksonville Suns competed in the AAA International League from 1962 to 1968. The franchise was relocated to
Yeah.
Norfolk, Virginia.
Become the
There you
Tide.
go.
Norfolk
the
Tide.
Tidewater
Yeah.
Tide.
Oh, wow, the Norfolk
Yep.
Tide.
Mhm. From 1985 to 1990, the team was known as the Jacksonville Expos during an affiliation with the Montreal Expos.
Ooh.
But they returned the Suns moniker in 1991. And then they
Oh.
rebranded as the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp before the 2017 season.
Okay, so those Suns,
Okay. So
1991
kind of like the Hornets,
Suns
you know, like we
Yeah,
we
they
gave
got
away
a
our
team
name and then
back,
Yeah.
but it has nothing to do with the old. Okay,
Right.
so it's like the Hornets. The
Alright.
Hornets came back
yeah,
after they moved to New Orleans and became the Pelicans,
yeah.
and we
Alright,
were
so
the
let's-
Bobcats. Anyway, go ahead.
Let's bring
The
it back.
Pelicans
Let's
are the Bobcats
Okay,
now?
okay, let's get back. Art, take your
I'm
shirt
up.
off and finish up.
I'm almost.
Yep.
I'm bringing it home, baby.
Show me
I'm
that
bringing it
chest.
home. I'm
All right,
bringing it home,
For
Goose.
the,
Oh,
for the listeners at home, Art is removing his shirt to finish the rest of this.
okay.
Oh,
So-
look at those nips.
Oh, there's also some chest hairs coming in as well.
And there
Yeah,
are
he drinks his whiskey.
There's potato chip crumbs in those chest hairs.
And nacho cheese.
It's
Um,
the best podcast ever.
he returned to the
We can
returned to
paint
the
a picture.
majors in '69 under Gil Hodges. When Tug returned, the Mets rotation was already set, so he worked out of the bullpen. McGraw filled in as a starter in '69 when Jerry Koosman went down with an injury. He was 1-1 with the 5.23 ERA during that time. Koosman returned to the rotation in May. The Mets were mired in a 5-game losing streak, which had them fall into fourth place. This was on May 28th. Tug, in June of that year, converted to the suggestion of Gil Hodges to a reliever full time. Now this is mind you, this is '69. And to those of you who know about the Mets, who know anything about baseball, you know what happened in 1969. Okay? The Mets had an 11-game winning streak, which moved them in second and left them 7 behind the Cubbies. And the reason I keep calling them the Cubbies is because I like the Cubs, and Cubs fans, they're the Cubbies. who
That's
had been
right.
in first for almost the entirety of the season. During their 11-game stretch, Tug had two saves. The Mets and Cubs played a two-game set on September 8th and 9th, which the Mets won and moved within a half game of them. The game on September 9th was the game with the black cat incident. The incident that earned this game a place in baseball lore happened in the top of the fourth inning. The Cubs put themselves in a good position to score a run after Glenn Beckert hit a double to center field. With Billy Williams at the plate and Ron Santo on deck,
Ron
the game was
Santo.
yeah, the game was interrupted when a black cat showed up on the field.
Ooh,
The
bad
cat
luck.
walked behind the on-deck circle where Santo was standing and then paraded in front of the Cubs dugout before disappearing under the stands. Ron said in an MLB article that appeared years later that the cat looked right at Cubs manager Leo DeRocha and went underneath the stands. No one thought about it at that time. The Mets' Ed Kranepool said cats were frequently found at Shea since we had a lot of rats there. After the cat disappeared, and two, after the cat disappeared, the game continued. The Cubs scored their lone run of the game when Santos singled and Beckett. Mets won 7-1. So now the thing with the black cat is, at that time, the Cubs went first. Like the Cubs, I mean, recently they've had games like what you call it? Like there have been teams like Detroit last year. Detroit had the American League Central sewn up, and they were like I think we're up like 15 games, and what's the name's Guardians was behind by 15, and they came back and actually won the division, and they're like big choke, big choke. Anyway, but basically the Cubs choke, right? Cubs choke. The following series was against, and I literally put this in there. The following series was against Joe's Montreal Expos,
Uh,
where the following day, September 10th, they took a twin bill from the Expos, along with a loss by the Cubbies. The Mets were now on first for the first time in 69. The Mets finished that year by winning 39 of their last 50 and finished the regular season an impressive 162. They led the Cubs, who finished in second by 8 games. McGraw made one appearance in the postseason for the Mets in 1969. The Amazing Mets is what they were called. 1969 Amazing Mets swept the Braves in the NLCS 3-0 and beat my Baltimore Orioles 4-1 in the World Series. Oh, those bastards. All right. So in these, this is I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Don't rush me, bro.
Keep cooking.
I know.
Keep
I'm
cooking.
just.
I'm here for supper.
Because McGraw was on the World Series roster, he earned a cut of the postseason pot revenue generated from ticket sales. His cut was 10 grand, of which he spent 7 grand on a white Mercedes convertible, which hold on to that thought as well.
So we're still holding on to Jacksonville?
Yep, Jacksonville
And
and the white Mercedes convertible.
Convertible, cool.
In the early 70s, Tug became one of the game's elite closers. In his 1972 All-Star season, he set a Mets record for saves in a season with 27, which lasted until 1984 when Jesse Orosco broke it with 31. In July of 73, in a team meeting, the chairman of the Mets were trying to inspire the team, and McGraw shouted the phrase, "You gotta believe." This phrase became the rallying cry for the Mets that they still use to this day, and Tug has been credited with coining the phrase. Tug spent much of the first half of the 70s with the Mets before he was traded during the winter meetings in 1974 to the Phillies. McGraw left the Mets at the time as the Mets' all-time leader in saves, 86 at that time, games finished, 228 at that time, and games played, 361. not games played, games pitched. From 1975 to 1984, he was a member of the Philadelphia Phillies, where he made the All-Star team for a second time in 1975 and won his second World Series in 1980, in which he recorded the final out. Tug retired after the '84 season. He was 40. He briefly had single spot starts for the this one is this one we can kind of relate to just because of where we're located. But he briefly had single spot starts for the Gastonia Rangers and a Southern Atlantic team in Gastonia, North Carolina in '89 and '90.
Anybody know what the current
Nice.
Gastonia team is called?
The honey something. The honey it used to be called the honey
Whirlies or something, right?
Honey Badgers,
they didn't change their name a couple of times.
the Whirlicues, the Lollipops.
Right now it says the Gastonia
The
Ghost,
Ghost
Pepper.
Puppers.
Ghost
Peppers.
Yeah, and they got cool
Ghost
merch.
Peppers.
They got
You
cool
said
hats, Joe.
Ghost Peppers. Yeah, I want that hat.
Nice.
And I want to go to a game now. Because I'm not
Gastonia
getting that
Ghost
hat if I don't go
Peppers.
to a game.
Well, good.
All right,
Good.
so
I mean-
I'm almost done. I'm almost done. So here I'll put in a little
Links to Gastonia Ghost
and
Peppers.
my little tidbits link back to what I was.
Wait a minute. We
What?
could potentially, when Steve comes down to the Carolinas to go to see the He-Man movie with us, we could go to a Gastonia Ghost Peppers game too. And all get
No, that
hats.
would be
Hats and tats. What if we
Hats
get
and
hats
tats.
and then get a tat of He-Man?
well, He-Man's like a He-Man reference tat. You know, you don't have to get like He-Man.
It can be Buzz Off.
Bridger. Yeah.
Trap jaw.
Stratos.
We should get He-Man tats and get Ghost Pepper hats and go see the movie together. And we can high five. We can do that jump high five thing.
Yeah.
Or jump in the air and high
And then
five each other.
have someone film it and use a slow-mo filter
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Slow-mo's freeze frame.
and have take it to the limit playing in the background.
Wasn't that like Toyota commercials they used to do that? Anywho,
Boy.
back to
All right.
Artstar. Finish
Okay,
up,
so
finish
and
up Tug
this-
McGraw. You never did tell us what happened special in
I'm
Jackson.
doing it. I'm doing
Jacksonville.
it. So I have this one.
Waiting
I
for a
have it
special
listed
moment.
under
Convertible.
little tidbits.
Is
Little
it sex?
tidbits.
Is it some sex? that he
Little
had?
oh yeah, Leo there. Some sexy dog.
The convertible.
In 1966, he had a very brief relationship with a neighbor named Betty D'Agostino.
Oh yeah,
Joe.
that's a
They
hot
had a
lady
son.
name.
They had a son. Wait for it.
I'm
Wait
waiting.
for it.
I'm waiting.
Named Tim.
Tim McGraw.
Tug was playing in Jacksonville when he was involved with Betty, who was a high school student. Her
Oh,
parents,
that's not a good thing.
her parents sent her to live with her relatives in Louisiana when they found out she was pregnant.
That's what they did back then. They sent you away.
Tim was born in, was it Dally, Louisiana. Tug claims she ghosted him after they had sex once. Tug didn't meet Tim until Tim was 11 years old, and this was after Tim found his birth certificate in his mother's closet, according to Wikipedia. Tug also had 5 other children and stepchildren from his previous marriage and his wife. In 1985, Betty sued Tug for back child support because she was struggling financially. This made Tug
Betty.
want to get a paternity test, which proved that Tim was indeed his son. Tug agreed to pay for Tim's college and finally met him. Tim, after discovering that Tug was his father as a kid, used to send him letters, but Tug wouldn't visit him because he told him he had a family and couldn't be a father to him.
Ugh.
They reconciled at this meeting, which the one where, he did the paternity test and found out he was the kid and blah, 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 all of that,
Yeah.
which brought them closer. A few years later, he bought a van for Tim and his band to use for travel when they were first starting out. In
Okay.
2004, Tim recorded a song, Live Like You Were Dying, which was written in honor of his father and includes video footage of Tug recording the final out in his last World Series in 1980.
Oh.
That year, it was a number one for 7 weeks on the Billboard country charts and named number one country song of 2004.
So are they still amicable? Do they still get along?
Well, hold on.
Wow.
The Mercedes that he bought. Oh, let me finish up.
All right.
He was elected
Almost.
to the Mets Hall of Fame in 1993, the Phillies Hall of Fame in 1990.
Okay.
He has an award named after him given out by the Philadelphia chapter of the Baseball Writers of Association, the Tug McGraw Good Guy Award.
Oh, it's not the Tug McGraw. I had sex with a high school student as an adult.
No,
award?
but no, he's a good guy. He's a
Okay.
good guy.
Renamed
He is?
renamed from Good Guy Award in 2004 following his death. Inducted in the Philly Sports Hall of Fame in 2010. In March of 2003, while working as an instructor with the Phillies during spring training, Tug was hospitalized with the glioblastoma brain tumor.
Ooh,
He had surgery to remove the tumor, which was said to be successful, and he was told that he would live a long life. The tumor returned in an inoperable form, and Tug lived for 9 months after the surgery. Tim paid for the care of his dad. His last public appearance was the closing ceremonies of Veterans Stadium on September 28, 2003, where he recreated the final out of the Phillies' 1980s World Series victory. He created a foundation to enhance the life of people with brain tumors called the Tug McGraw Foundation before his death. He was cremated after his death, which was on January 5th, 2004, at Tim and Faith Hill's home. His son spread some of his ashes on the mound of Citizen Bank Park before Game 3 of the 2008 World Series, almost 5 years after his death. So after he died, his son got the Mercedes-Benz, the convertible.
Oh.
And also, a total of 6 Phillies players, have died of glioblastoma. And that was a theory that came out in 2023 that suggested it has something to do to PFAs, which is polyfluoroalkyl substance, which was found
chemicals
in the AstroTurf at Veterans Stadium.
At Veterans Stadium.
So John Vukovic, Ken Brett, Dan Quisenberry, Darren Dalton, and David West, they all played at Veterans Stadium.
Yeah.
But they
say take that, says science.
But supposedly there's no real evidence that was the case, because even though it was 6 Phillies players, but there have been a ton of players playing
that's a small
ton of players that
percentage.
played at that facility.
I mean, if you look at
what did those players do differently? Do they eat the grass?
Lick it,
Rub it on their balls?
What's turf? It's not grass.
Turf, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do they roll around in
turf?
it? But no, but see, if you think about numbers, very few players. That's like a 0.0 something percent.
0.0000 something percent.
I don't know about that many.
But that's my birthday, Tug McGraw.
Well,
and again, I
Tug
told you because
Tim
those of you who
McGraw's-
know me, I love the baseball. Like, even though I
do
can't,
love the
there's no
baseball.
sound. I'm watching Team USA beat Mexico. Aaron Judge hit a home run. It's 5-2 right now. So,
yeah, Artstar loves baseball. Why do you?
I love baseball movies.
You like
baseball movies are great. Yeah,
Baseball movies.
Art, do you think? My only problem with baseball is, why does the manager wear a uniform? Like it's the only sport they wear. Like, why? How come in football they don't wear a uniform? The coach doesn't
well,
wear a
if you think
uniform.
about it, they might not wear a football uniform, but they have on the pants and they have a shirt with the logo on it. Like hockey.
Well, yeah,
and hockey, hockey they have on a suit. Basketball, for the most part, they'll have on a suit sometimes.
But nobody wears a uniform. Nobody wears a baseball pants.
I mean, they wear a uniform. Like if I look, other than knowing that the hockey manager is standing behind them on the bench, I don't know. But if I'm watching football, if I see the manager, I can tell the head coach, because he had like I'm watching the Commanders. The head coach has on a shirt with the Commanders logo, and
Yeah,
he has
but what he
Yeah,
said,
but he's not
what
wearing
I
the
think,
same uniform as the
yeah, no, like
players.
what
well,
I'm
and
wondering is,
not
go
all
on.
managers do it. Some managers will have on like they'll have on like a warm up jacket type thing. It's just some of them like true like back in the
I think I
day.
struck a nerve.
Here we,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
no,
no,
I
I
think I
mean,
missed
he's
hard.
like,
no
Oh,
nerves.
I've
It's
never
just
seen
like
he's
him like
passionate
this.
it's like
about
Never
I
baseball.
can't
seen
see
him
your
like
Like
face
I
this.
was
because my
trying to
mic's in
He's
there.
in a ring.
like
It's
I
like
was
it's one
trying
of
to
those
think.
things. If you watch baseball and you really watch it, you'll probably see a few managers actually wearing. They may have the pants on, but
Yeah.
you like not
Have a
like you
jacket.
maybe see maybe like 30% of them will actually have on a jersey top. The rest of them will have on like a half
A
zip
tie
jacket, or they won't have a
over
tie
the
on.
jersey
No,
top. They'll
yeah,
have a half
or
zip
they,
jacket over the jersey top,
well,
and
no,
they'll
they
have
won't
the
even have
hat
one
on.
though. They'll have like a hoodie.
I don't know. I don't watch
All right, I got
baseball.
They'll
one
have
more.
like a
I
I
got one
hoodie.
watch
more baseball
baseball
question.
movies.
One more baseball question for you,
Mhm.
Art. You're at a baseball game. You add up all the baseball games you've gone to.
Uh-huh.
What is your go-to snack at the baseball game?
Yes.
Go
What
to
do you
snack.
what do you always have
When
to
I was
eat?
a kid,
Is it always a
it
hot dog? Is it a Cracker Jack?
no, because I think to me, I never understood the. I guess that was just a song. Oh, first off, also Tug McGraw,
Oh
Tug
yeah.
McGraw, he did an album where he did Casey at the Bat. He
Nice.
also did a comic called I think it was called Scoogy or
Don't fuck
Scroogy,
with
A comic book?
a comic strip.
No comic strip.
Comic strip. But
Tug
yeah, the whole
McGraw.
Cracker Jack thing, I never like I guess that's just for song purposes. Like you go to a baseball game, they sell Cracker Jacks,
Yeah.
but going to a baseball game and getting Cracker Jacks, I didn't
Do you
like
get peanuts?
Yeah,
well,
bag of peanuts,
peanuts.
hands
Yeah,
down.
like when me and my dad used to go to the games,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
Any
What
dad
did
would
you
sport,
get?
take he would take peanuts and it's like you ever been to like a bar
Yeah.
and
Just
especially
crack
like
them and throw them on the
and the
ground.
peanuts all over like literally like we'd be
yes,
sitting there like at
yes,
Memorial Stadium and they had
yes,
like the old style aluminum benches and
Yep.
we'd be sitting in left field bleachers and we'd sit there and he's cracking the peanuts and it's like and I'm sitting there watching fucking the peanuts suck and then like the way my dad would watch baseball he would be sitting there and I'm for me as a kid, it's
Yeah.
like you're watching, like you got your glove, like you're on the lookout because like all you
yeah,
want is the ball to come your way.
yeah.
Then you
If you
also
forgot your
enjoy
glove, you got the popcorn bucket ready. Like you
Yeah.
yeah,
like
so you're
something.
waiting, but then like just watching him sitting there, like something happens, like he's cracking the peanuts intently, or he's eating popcorn, and just like you watching like the whole row, everyone just like the camaraderie. It's like the camaraderie watching strangers you don't even know. Everyone's intently cracking open peanuts, like on the edge of their seats. And it's
Yeah.
like, what is this? And it's like, but you look around, you see no one eating Cracker Jacks. Like there's no one eating Cracker Jacks. Like, and then they're like, hey, that's you go to the concession stand, show their Cracker Jack. But it's always like a hot dog. Like when I used to love getting like the soft pretzel. Like when
Oh
something
yeah.
about getting like the soft
Yeah.
pretzel,
Good soft
Yeah.
and when you
pretzel.
can, and like the nachos. Like
Oh
when you really
yeah.
got the nachos before they started giving you like you go get nachos. It was like a little. Now you get the
A
little
little thing of
cup,
chips
and
and
then
a
like a
little cup of
bag.
cheese.
Like now
Yeah,
you used to get the tray.
that ain't
They
it.
squeeze the cheese in the tray and they put the nachos in there. And then and then the jalapenos. And so when you was walking back, you had to make sure you didn't trip and spill your nacho cheese. It wasn't you got back to your seat and you peel the thing off your nachos, cheese, open up your bag and empty the nachos in the
Into
tray
the
yourself.
tray.
Like, what the hell is
Dumb,
this?
dumb.
But like, yeah,
What? I love your passion for baseball. That's what I love. So I could gather, like, do you think your dad instilled the fanhood in you by taking you to those games as a kid? Is that how why you're a
that
fan?
too. But then to me, it's just like growing up. I just love baseball.
Yeah,
I
okay.
love listening to like even to this day. I'll listen to it on the radio.
Did you play as a kid? Did you play baseball?
I didn't play like we played in the alley. We
Yeah.
did stick ball, alley
But
ball,
you
shit
didn't
like
play on
that.
any teams or
No,
anything.
Like
no,
little league or nothing.
no little league, no
I
little league.
loved little league.
I feel like that ruins your
Yeah.
love for baseball. Like,
Really?
I actually quit playing baseball because I had a coach one year tell me, "Oh, well, this summer, if you want to have a fun
You get
summer and screw around, well, you don't want to be on this team because we're going to work all summer. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be hard work. And I was like,
yeah, like the travel teams.
I was like
yeah,
7, and I was like, I want to
yeah.
fuck around and have fun. And Steve
Joe
and
wanted to pick daisies in left field.
I did do that, but I was
Yeah.
actually, I think I was pretty good. But Steve and I became good friends that year.
I was not an outdoor kid.
Well, that year in spring, we were like becoming best friends. We were like,
Yeah.
oh, we're going to listen to Weird Al every day all summer, and we're going to do this, and we're going to go to the pool, and we're going to do this. And then they were like, the coach was like, you're not going to have any fun, so kiss all your friends goodbye and come here and play baseball. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to go hang out with Steve. So I quit baseball to hang out with Steve, and
And look at us now.
otherwise,
Yeah,
I'd be
still
in the
friends.
majors. I'd be
he would have been.
league.
You would have been a manager wearing a
So
uniform.
I have
Yes.
an interjection about the theories about those Phillies deaths. So you said like of all the Phillies that played there, like only 6, so over the course of that stadium, Veterans Stadium, there were 532 Phillies players that played on that stadium.
Oh, well, that's
Uh-huh.
a different
So
percentage.
So 6 in 532
That's
is
a different-
But then you also got to realize.
Hold on. 1.1%. And then your general odds of getting that cancer, glioblastoma, is 5 in 100,000 people.
Oh wow.
0.005%.
Yeah,
So
so that is
The
suspicious.
Phillies players were 220 times more likely to get that cancer.
Wow.
That's kind of, I'm
That-
starting
that-
to, my
But then you
tinfoil
also-
hats.
Well,
You
that's
also
what made
gotta
me think
realize,
it's probably
too-
not the turf. It's something else in that stadium.
It's
that those
just an
guys were
off
doing.
gassing.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe,
What,
yeah.
what positions? What positions were they all?
Well,
pitching?
Yeah, what positions
Quisenberg
they
was the
play?
pitcher. Garen Dalton was the catcher.
Pitchers and catchers report early.
Well, that's a spring training. They wouldn't have been there at spring training.
Oh, I apologize. Please accept my apology.
I accept your apology.
So my
I
friend Brian
trying to shoot
McCartney
the-
always every year says, pitchers and catchers report in some days.
Oh yeah.
Every year he's all excited. Anyway, okay, now but we got one more thing for Steve to cover before
What? Oh shit!
you got. I
What?
think
Just what? Real quick before we move away, I just want to say, Art, you pegged this like, like I'm just gonna do a birthday and it's no.
Yeah,
big
no,
deal.
I do.
Like,
You know,
and then it's Tim McGraw's dad. Like, get out of here.
yeah.
But see, and that's what I had to do. That's what I had to do
You
because
made
I wanted it
seem
to be about Tug.
It's gonna be real quick.
I wanted it to be
No, I
about
knew.
Tug.
No.
That's why when
let
I
me ask you
mentioned
this, Art.
that's why
Did
when I
you-
mentioned the Cadillac, the Mercedes, I started to say like, oh, because I had in my notes, I had Tim receive like, oh, as you're reading this, don't say this part yet. Hold on to that. And then I got to the Jacksonville thing. In my notes, I had it right there, like, don't mention this until you get to your little tidbit section. Because then they're like, yeah, well, I
You
want
did a
them to
good
be
job
like,
with
oh,
that.
it's Tim. I started to sit there and say Faith Hill's husband. That's what I started to say, like, before I saying Tim. Like, I'm just going ahead and say Tim.
Were you aware
Well done, Art.
of him
Yeah.
being his father
Very good.
before you
Yeah.
did that? Oh, everybody knows that, or just Art knows that?
Well, you look
Well,
at
you're
them,
a
they kind
baseball
of look
fan.
alike.
Oh,
I
I
was
don't
gonna-
know.
he's-
I couldn't pick.
He's
Tim
got
McGraw
that.
crowd.
He's got that like that haircut.
Oh, and
that I feel like's coming back.
this is something I couldn't find much about it, but like in 1973, supposedly if you look it up, it'll just take you to like a Facebook picture post where him and 3 other Phillies, I want to say it was 78. They were supposed to be doing a 1,600-mile bike ride from Philadelphia to Clearwater to
Uh-huh.
raise money for muscular
Eesh.
dystrophy.
Can you imagine the taint pain you'd have?
But it
riding
was
that far?
they was going from Philadelphia to Clearwater because Clearwater is where the Philly spring training home is.
Oh.
I'm looking at side by side pictures of the two now, and yeah, it's like clearly his
They look
kid.
the same. Yeah. And is there any talk at all in his bio about how weird it is that he had sex with a high school student? Like, is that?
I mean, like if you he
It was probably
he has
a
He was
couple of
20.
books.
He was
He has a couple of
22.
books.
How old was he? How old was the girl? Because it says
He-
I hope she didn't.
teenager.
I'm pretty
Hopefully.
sure in the book it probably mentions her age or whatever. But
I mean,
when
that
I first read it,
happened a lot
I'm
more
thinking
than-
maybe she
Hopefully
was a high school
17.
senior. or 17 high school senior. But then it's also you think about it.
Hopefully,
You trying to you don't want to think
19
about it, but like in the
held
60s,
back.
and the
Things were
60s is one
different.
of
People
those
got
things,
married in high school. Yeah.
right? And but then also it's like the legal consent age and all of that, and they're like in Florida and
Florida.
Yeah, I think it's still like, aren't they trying to make it
Florida,
14 in
I think
Florida.
Florida?
Florida, it's still 16. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
I'm
I
pretty
think it's
sure
still 16 in
Ohio.
Florida.
Like I think there's more than enough that it's like, well, we'll ask if the parents say it's okay. It's just a little
But
weird.
it wasn't because the parents sent their way, so
Well,
it
Jerry
clearly
Lee
Well, I
wasn't.
mean that.
Lewis
Well,
married
that
his
was
14-year-old cousin.
Age of
yeah.
consent is 18, except for individuals 16 to 17 if their partners are younger than 24. So that would cover him.
Eesh.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying
Yeah,
that's the law.
it's
And then
it's a weird world we're in.
according to him, they only did it once. That was his claim. They only did it once, and then she ghosted him.
Hey, dude,
It
she
only
said she
takes
was
once,
okay.
brother.
That's true. And that brings us to August 31st, 1944, which is a Thursday. And Steve, you're going to cover professional wrestler Jos LeDuc, right? Who was born in Montreal that day?
No,
Oh, no.
no, no. I'm covering the Mad Gasser of Mattoon.
Ooh.
Mattoon.
I don't know
It
what this is.
looks like a
I,
Cobra villain.
yeah. On that night, uh, what was their name? Urban. Urban heard a strange noise, and when he tried to get up to investigate, he fell, for he was paralyzed from the waist down. His wife also paralyzed. They didn't know what was going on. It was a weird metallic smell. And then it dissipated. They called for help, and eventually it wore off. But later,
Okay.
it happened again in another house. And then over the next 2 weeks, it happened again and again. And various people started seeing a thin, thin male creeping around windows, sticking tubes or filter guns. What was it? A fister gun? Not a fister gun. Flitter gun.
A
One of the
flitter
little,
gun?
a flitter gun, one of those little
Like-
gas sprayers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Has the pump and the gasket.
Like Tom and Jerry.
Exactly like Tom and Jerry. Because it was 1944. And there's all kinds of theory. Was it a loose German from the nearby internment camp? Because, yeah, we kept POWs in America. We captured Germans, brought them back to the Midwest in some cases.
The Midwest.
Yeah, because there was a large contingent of German Americans from the Midwest that flew back to the fatherland to fight for them.
Ah.
And then when we captured them, we brought them back here and kept them in our Midwestern internment camps, which were for European captures, as opposed to the Western internment camps which were for our own Asian citizens. We kept them separate, but they were equal. I don't know. I think the Europeans had a little bit more of a lockdown. But anyway, over the course of a week, various people reported feeling like they were getting gassed.
Ugh.
No one ever caught anything. The official story from the police was, it was something from the nearby factory. The nearby chemical factory said, dude, no, nothing we make does that shit.
Uh-huh.
And they said, oh, mass hysteria. Everyone just said it happened. Which maybe some, yeah. But it was August 31st was the first report. Then September 1st, there were three. The big one being from Eileen Kearney. She woke up and her husband was on the ground violently vomiting.
Ugh.
And she saw like a dark figure in the window just like vanish.
Ugh.
Very creepy.
Creepy.
Very creepy. Yeah. No, there was Mrs. Beulah Cordes. Her and her husband were walking up to their house one day and noticed a white cloth where their dog normally slept. She picked it up, and when she sniffed it, her face swelled. She got violently ill. By the time they got the rag tested, no, nothing was wrong with it. So
I just imagine she picked it up and gave it a sniff, and she was passed out.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
Like if
was
it was
a
the movie, it probably like she passed out.
well, like I my research involved watching a couple spooky YouTube videos on the subject, and then
oh,
going through the Wikipedia thing. But it was over the court, like the first, there's three on the first, two on the fifth. On the sixth, a guy thought he saw someone trying to get into the house. And by the time he got out there, they were fleeing the scene. On the seventh, one of the people reported it was the night of the sixth that seventh was reported. They saw a blue vapor and heard a motorized buzzing accompanying it with it,
oh.
possibly from some sort of machinery. Uh, the last one by Bertha Birch on the 13th. This is after the FBI is involved. They found their daughter, or no, their son out of bed, and what they thought was a looked like a woman dressed as a man going out of the window. But that was the only report that was the only one that reported someone, the entity, because I like saying that, entering the house. Usually they just saw the entity creeping outside. The only report of footprints were these high-heeled ones that accompanied the last one on September 13th. But yeah, it was a neighborhood, a neighborhood of the in the town of Mattoon, Illinois.
Mattoon, Illinois.
And no
And
one
it
ever
ha-
died, right?
No, no one ever
no,
died. All
nobody
no,
died, but somebody vomited.
yeah, so people got sick. People felt paralyzed, had weird tastes in their mouth, but within a couple hours, everything was fine.
They never found the person
Nope, never found the person or people.
or
Like
people.
that was just that there was other reports of it happening in other areas, like Virginia in 41.
Really?
But these were like groups of people. They involved fleet.
Copycat gassers.
Well, they were gassers before this gasser. Like this
Uh,
gasser would be a more refined version of those gassers.
but you said they called it mass hysteria,
They,
or they
the
knew
official account is mass hysteria.
people were just making it up.
Yeah. It was a tense time. It was 44. The war
Yeah,
was
the
going
war's
on.
going on.
The
People
best
are.
thing to see at
Germans are
theaters was that
everywhere.
fucking Gizmit.
The
Germans were
communists.
everywhere. Like the general vibe of the world was, see something, say something, plus stop and frisk, but with citizen militias. So
Plus,
kind of where we're going.
Tug
I
McGraw
see.
was just born.
I see.
Yeah.
It said the local sheriff warned citizens like when you're carrying, please be
Yeah.
careful. Please don't shoot your neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're gonna do it. Just ask questions before you shoot.
It's crazy that people saw a figure
Yeah.
in the window, and if you Google Mad Gasser of Mattoon and do
Yeah.
the image search, like that's
Yeah.
creepy. Like
That's
Artstar,
fucked
it
up.
looks like a Cobra villain or something.
Yeah, no, it's fucked up.
But like, how would you even go about? I guess you'd have a tube and a.
Well, I
I don't
mean,
know.
yeah, you wear a crude gas mask and then you're just like pumping some sort of gas.
I
You're
wonder if
trying
gas
various
were
gases.
gas masks more common then because of the war and everything and the bomb and
Well, I imagine there's
all that.
there's more surplus stores around. Maybe. I don't know.
And thinking of
Maybe they were less common, which is why it was so off-putting.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a makeshift gas mask.
But we do have to say, don't try this at home. Don't hear
Yeah,
this and think it's a good
don't,
idea to just
yeah,
start
gas
gassing
people.
people.
That's not a good idea. I
But
mean, if you want to run around in a gas mask with a little flick gun and play Sandman or whatever, I don't know.
or you
To
could,
try to fight crime.
yeah,
I
you are
wouldn't
allowed to
advise it.
still Dutch oven people
Yeah.
if you want to do that.
I mean, there's usually a level of consent because you're sharing a bed.
Yeah.
Maybe the first and last time.
Unless it's Willem Dafoe or Kai Rizdal who's sharing your bed.
Well,
Take a nap.
I mean, if there's going to be certain allotments.
Yeah.
If someone's in my bed, be it Guy Rizdal or, I mean, like when Defoe comes over, he's more of a couch friend.
Yeah, he just sleeps on
He
your
prefers
couch.
the couch. Guy will take the bed.
And by the way, just real quick, I did see that the Gastonia Ghost Peppers are at home the week of the first week of June 5th and 6th, when the He-Man movie comes out. So we could do a Friday Gastonia Ghost Peppers and Saturday.
I make no promises. That's like, travel is not the easiest thing to do.
That's true. You might be in Seattle buying a leather kilt.
Well, I mean, I looked up the leather kilt. The leather kilt is $9.99 now.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so
That's okay. You're still covered. You got
Still
enough.
yeah, I'm
covered.
still covered. I'm still covered with the kilt. It's just the trip because
Yeah, it's gotta
traveling
get
is
there,
difficult.
so-
Yeah.
But you have to have it
Least it's
fitted,
easy.
right? Like you can't.
Well, I think
just
so.
order-
I didn't want to like look too much in it. I just kind of like looked it up and I was like, oh shit.
I found one for $666. I was looking for that one, and then it was like lowered to 400. I thought so.
Yeah. Well, I
Maybe
mean,
it's
you
not
may
the
have-
same one. I don't
yeah,
know which
maybe
one
it's
you're
the
looking
same.
for. You know what you're looking
No.
for.
Well,
Anywho,
no, like,
that's
hey, that's not to do with this.
yeah. Now I got to edit all that out. So
Yeah.
anyway, well, thanks for listening, Timehead. Steve, thanks for covering the Mad Gasser of Mattoon and Artstar. Thanks for covering Tug McGraw knocking up a high school student.
Begetting
But-
Tug McGraw.
No, his birthday. It was his birth.
His birthday and his career
and he gave the world Tim, right?
and his good. His
And he
good
gave
dialogue.
us the Tim McGraw, who was Faith Hill's husband,
What is?
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a long time I didn't know the difference between Faith Hill. That's going to be embarrassing to say, and Taylor Swift. But then once she became more mainstream, then I was like, well, she's not really a country singer. Now I know who that is.
Did you know? Did you
And
breathe?
Tammy Wynette and Shania Twain. And there's one other one. It's like,
Reba McEntire.
I don't
Ashley
know.
Judd,
I
Naomi
don't know. I don't
Judd,
know who Shania Twain
Wyona
is.
Judd,
Isn't there like a blonde?
Leanne Rams.
Leanne Rhymes. That's the other one I got confused.
Who's
Oh,
on 9? Who's on? Ow, mother effer. Who's
are
on
you okay?
911
A
Nashville?
second injury?
Yeah.
You got
It's-
two injuries today.
Just
Archie.
talking fast, you know.
Oh,
Biting your lips.
No.
well, Thanks for listening, Timeheads. This has been another episode of American Timelines by History for Jerks. And this is so long, this might be 2 episodes, and the last one might be 2 episodes. So this might be 8 episodes. Anyway, I guess it's time to get out of here.
Chuck
Hey.
Berry,
Chuck Berry.
get out of here.
get
Get the hell out of the bathroom, Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry.
Now I'm obsessed with
This is a
time.
safe
Dang it,
space,
Chuck
Chuck
Berry.
Chuck Berry, go on get.
Are you guys still friends?
Yeah, I hope so.
Are you guys still the cock blockers or the?
What was it? The
Cocksuckers?
Cock Rocket?
I think it was a cock block.
Joe and the Cock Rockets
Joe
out.
and
so
the Cock
long.
Rockets.
Oh, my child, it's about to get wild. Have you been down on the streets today? Say, yeah, now, baby, it's about to get crazy. Everybody's got something to say. We got 10,000 people screaming, oh my God, it's over, but they're never gonna take us away. So you better get believing there's a brand new feeling. If you're asking, I say stay awake, stay awake. I know you feel it on the inside.
Matt Truman Ego Trip is the greatest band of all time. Buy their music. American Timelines is a product of History for Jerks. Check out historyforjerks.com for all the other weird and cool shiznit. There's the Gruff and Loud Show, a YouTube show for Gen X weirdos who like pop culture and weird shit. There's also the Deborah Jo Ruppyverse show featuring the mighty Artstar and Steve Bishop exploring the theory that the actress Deborah Jo Rupp is a Nexus being, and every part she has played is one immortal being. Don't forget about the Nerd School podcast and the threadless shop where you can buy a Tito Jackson shirt and a Dabney Coleman hat. Only a stupid dumbass wouldn't want a Dabney Coleman hat, and only a wiener bitch wouldn't want a Tito Jackson shirt.